All right, and we are
Okay.
live. Welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast for the first time in a long time. I am Nary Science. With me, as hasn't been because none of us have been here for a
Yeah.
long time, is Steph,
Oh wow.
Animator Senior.
That
Uh,
pause gets worse and worse.
and with me, special guest today coming back is Missy, Mr. Minier. How you doing, love? How you guys doing?
Exhausted.
I'm so excited.
Do you mean accomplished? You guys are accomplished.
I am
Huh?
not accomplished. I am beautiful.
Wait, what did I miss?
That
Because
when
what?
people say like, you know how when
Wait,
people
wait,
are
wait,
like,
wait. You gotta lower your volume. The volume on the thing is really loud. Or volume on the mic
Me?
is really loud. Yeah. No.
Me?
me,
Missy,
me, me,
Missy, Missy.
me. Is this better?
More.
Is this better?
Yes.
Okay, that's as
Yes.
low as it goes. So, um, because when Steph, when people say like things like, "Oh my gosh, you look so tired," that's like a polite way of saying you look like shit, and
Yeah.
accomplished is along the lines of that.
So when you do so, you're like, oh, you look so tired. Well, it's because I've been doing
Okay.
shit. It's because I've been doing
Yeah.
shit. It's like, well, then you should say you look so accomplished because you look like you've accomplished a lot today.
I've been
Uh,
accomplishing cooking an entire damn human.
Well, that's actually where we got it from. Is when people say that to pregnant women.
Yes.
It's like, oh, you look so tired. Like, yeah, I'm making a human.
Yeah.
I'm making a human. All right.
I'm a bit busy.
Hello,
Hello.
hello, what's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, motherfuckers. With Nary Signs. I'm like, what? How can this? They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
Steph, Animator Senior.
Yeah, I don't have to look cute for you.
What doing?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
And Mike Markadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
Oh, it's been a long time. It's been such a long time. Anyways, yes. Happy New Year, first of all, ladies. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Here we go again.
Yeah. Happy. It's been a while. Steph, do you remember the last time that WuBro did an episode?
God, no.
I want to say it
been
was like
months now.
October something.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Oh wow.
So it's been a minute. It's been a minute. It's been a combination of scheduling and mostly, I want to say, shitty Wi-Fi connection
Yeah.
from either Stephanie not having it. She
Yeah.
moved into a new place, and it was like a month of trying to get her Wi-Fi up. And
That was so
then
annoying.
I've been on cruise ships and stuff, and the because I should not even be allowed to be on here. The fact that I'm even allowed to be on here because of the fact that, like, just think about the magic. Mike is always talking about the magic, like you're in the middle of the ocean and yet we're communicating with people all around the world.
That is, yeah.
So it's like it's pretty bizarre that I'm even allowed, like, allowed meaning technology wise, being
Yeah,
able
yeah.
to be
Okay.
out.
I thought you meant like they had a lockdown on the ship, and you're like,
No. I mean, it's funny. So no. I mean, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild that as far as technology is concerned, if you think about it, 8-9 years ago, we started this podcast 11 years ago, Mike and I, and then when Mike went to New York, it's funny that we were like, oh well, I guess Mike can't be on the podcast anymore because he was, you know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
impossible. Like the technology just 10 years ago was at the point where we were like, well, if you're leaving to a different state, that means we can't do this anymore together. And it's like, oh, Now I'm in the middle of the ocean and we're doing this. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, and I'm on the other side of the planet.
Right. Actually, I'm on the other side of the country today because I'm actually technically in California,
Oh
or
shit.
and there and abouts or whatever.
We're in three
Um,
different time zones. Look at us.
Yep, 3 different time zones.
The future.
This
Yeah,
is
this is
right,
still
right
very
there.
novel to me too. Yes.
So, anyways, Happy New Year. It was weird to call Stephanie. You and I talked an hour after your New Year and like 2 hours before my New Year, and we
Yeah.
were like in this middle. I was talking to you while you were in 2023 and I was in 2022. It
Yeah.
was very like it was very. It was first of all, it was weird that you answered the phone. That was already like what the fuck? That was awkward. That was. I was like, I was just.
I was up and the
I
baby
was
was
like, all
down.
right.
The baby was
And
asleep.
and then when you answered, it was so loud there. I was like, Are you in Colombia? What's going on? Like it did not. It felt very Hispanic in your area. I was like, this damn near pots and pans being hit to get like what's going on here? What's going
Yeah,
on?
my particular Aussies are the loud ones.
But you had your family there too, right? Your parents were
Yes.
there.
That
so
helped. Yeah.
so I was kind of right.
Yeah. Yeah. Colombia came to me for a change. It was really cute.
There it is. Anyways, Missy brought up a good story. I don't know if you saw this. Like an hour ago, Missy and I were talking, and apparently Gwen Stefani, is it Gwen Stefani, Missy?
Gwen Stefani. These are the moments of the internet that I'm just like, I love it.
Oh,
Gwen
God, what
Stefani has upset the internet because she is claiming Japanese heritage. Wait. Mind you,
That's
I
the
went to
face I
this.
put. That's the face I put. That's the same one where you're like,
I'm not going off of the Twitter. This is directly from the source, the story itself, right? So this is long story short, she was talking about I think it was her first solo album that she had that
When she went to
trend
that massive Harajuku phase. Yeah.
Okay. So she was talking about that and how like, do you think looking back it may have been a little culturally insensitive, right?
Yeah.
So
A bit
she
appropriate.
said long story short, she goes, we all have different color skin and all have different things that we wear different colors for. But so this is the author talking now. I also included a question about what she felt she may have learned from, I can't pronounce it, lovers.
Harajuku. Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Considering its praise, backlash, and everything in between, she responded by telling me a story she shared with the press before about her father's job at Yamaha, which had him traveling between their home in California and Japan for 18 years.
Stephanie's
That
face.
was
Stephanie's
wait,
face
it
is
gets
just
better. It
classic.
gets better. That was my Japanese influence, and that was a culture that was so rich with tradition yet so futuristic. Blah 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 blah. And then she said, then as an adult, so this is the writer again. Then as an adult, she was able to travel to Harajuku, right? Did I say it right? Probably not.
Close.
To see them,
I'm not saying it right either.
to see them herself, and quote, this is Gwenny now. Quote, I said, my God, I'm Japanese and I didn't know it. End quote. And then the writer comes back. The writer comes back and says, as those words seemed to hang in the air between us, she continued, I am. She then explained there is innocence to her relationship with Japanese culture, referring to herself as a super fan. But the thing is,
She's a weeb. She's a
the
weeb.
thing is that being
I
a
don't know
super
what a
fan
weeb
of
is.
I don't know what a weeb
What's a
is.
weeb?
What's a weeb?
Oh my, a weeb
Is this
is
gonna be
those-
like the Mormon? No, okay.
No. No, it's not that. A weeb is just like, those guys who are like so into anime that they themselves want to like turn the whole lives into,
It's their whole
Like-
personality.
it's their whole personality.
All right.
And that they're really into Japan and the Japanese customs. They're always talking about the older stuff, and it's always just very, very cringy because you're just like, you are from Minnesota. Calm down.
Wait, so is weeb a term that's only specifically for super fans of the
Usually anime
Asia
and like
anime culture. Okay, so
yeah, yeah.
okay,
It's usually anime culture and Japanese culture as a
as a
extension.
whole, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. But yes, the whole oh, this is so aggressively
But it's I could. This is
right
what I'm
leading.
picturing from what Missy's reading. This is what I'm picturing is the journalist. From what it sounds like, the journalist is giving her all the
All the
time
outs.
and chances in the world to
Fix it.
be like, no, yeah, looking back at it now, it's just that I'm a fan of the culture and I didn't mean to appropriate. It's just blah, blah. Like it feels
Yeah.
like the writer was giving her all the time and chances in the world to be like, no, 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 I'm sorry. I know looking back at it now, it didn't age well. Like,
Right.
say shit like that. Say anything like
Yeah.
that.
I
And then
thought
when she
originally
goes,
it
"Oh
said
my
like,
god, I'm
hey,
Japanese," I just picture the scene like I'm Japanese, and then the writer going, and then the words hanging in the air, and then Gwen going, "I am," and it's like, uh, uh,
yeah,
but you're not.
but like, did you take a test? And it's like, surprise. There's a little bit
So
in this, like,
here's here's my question, right? Here's first of all, I got many questions, but when you
so
heard, because
many
I'm
questions.
finding out about this right now. I just found out about the fact that she said she was Japanese, and I go, I need more context because I'm trying to figure out like, did she get her 23 and me and
That's what I was
find out
thinking.
did she get her
That's
23 and me and find out like I'm 6% I'm 6% Japanese, therefore I'm gonna exploit this 6% or whatever the fuck, whatever.
right, right,
Or
right.
is it like, oh my god, I really love this Japanese rice. I must be Japanese. Like that's what I'm trying to like
And the
because
sad
she's
thing is, it's actually closer to that one.
yeah, because that was my actual Missy verify. That was my
And then her
actual
dad worked
reaction.
with Yamaha.
I was like,
Like,
because she is in Hollywood, it could be one of those two things. It could be like anywhere
Well,
between the gauntlet of that, and
but the thing is, like,
it's
to me,
the
it's just it
Japanese rice
boggles the
one.
mind. It boggles the mind that like she didn't just go with "I felt so connected to it," da da da, which is still super wrong. Like, still, you're not right.
It's
But
still,
like
but at
the
the
fact that
same
she tried
time,
to lead in with her
at least you're
dad
giving coach.
traveling back and forth, like
Yeah.
I'm like, what is your dad's job having to travel back and forth in a place that you didn't go to? By the way, you didn't go. Your dad was traveling, and your dad happened to work with Yamaha. Is it like one of those things because my mom used to work with a Brazilian company? Does that make me Brazilian? Like, like what is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just
You know?
the way that this came up organically, by the way, but I was like, did you hear about Gwen Stefani claiming that she's Japanese? And Mary's like, no.
And I did the
And
same
then
thing you did. I
that's
did the hell tilt. That.
Yeah.
and then I said, and I told him, I go, I saw the headlines. I didn't actually like find, I didn't go looking for the article until he asked me to elaborate. And then I was like, to his credit, he tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. And he was like, maybe it's that. Maybe it's,
That's what I thought. I was like,
what's
oh,
the context of it? And then I read it and I laughed so hard because how in our Lord's year of 2023 do you
This
step
happened
in
just
it
now?
like this?
Okay. Oh, bro. Like
I don't.
I
That's
thought
what I'm
we were
saying. Like,
past
at
it
least
too.
give
Like,
the
oh, I
flowers.
thought we were.
You could give that. Again, it's not it's not. I think you're saying like when you said, oh, it's still bullshit, but at least it gives it more of like, hey, you're at least giving the culture its flowers. Like, look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend
And
anybody.
you're
I was
not
just a real big fan of the culture, and I really dug it, and I had a connect. I felt a connection to it, but again, it's not mine, but I do feel strongly for it. Again, it's you. A lot of people are like, "Oh, that's a bullshit thing." I'm like, kind of. What's bullshit about it that she still made money off of the culture,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
at least the explanation is to me it's a valid one. It's like at least it's an understandable one. You're like,
well,
we
right,
all
like it's still, I think everything is how you say it. So she could have communicated the appreciation for the culture, and she, like Neri said, she could have been like, that was 2002, like a different
Yeah.
time.
Dude,
I regret,
wore.
maybe not. I regret it, but I do it differently now. Like you have PR people. Where was her team?
she could have been like, look, it was 2002. We didn't know any better back then. We've learned a lot more about cultural appropriation now, and I would definitely do things differently
Yeah.
today. She could have
I
said
feel like
that.
I would still want to bring attention to the culture because it's cool, but at the same time, like honestly, it's one of those things where like it's the fact that to her because she ingests the content, she thinks she is part of it. Like I'm like I used to wear Harajuku lovers clothing back then. I did not all of a sudden think I was Japanese because I was wearing like something super little kawaii bullshit back
Well,
then
it's
because
like
I was
those.
very in
It's
at
the
the time.
equivalent. It's the equivalent of being like, dude, I saw Avatar 17 times and I am Navi. I am like you're not, but you're fucking not. Like you could just say
Yeah,
I love the movie and not claim to be Navi. Like you're
yeah.
not. It
I
doesn't
am a
fucking work that
Jedi.
way. Yeah, it doesn't. You know, like you just.
Oh, if I'm a big
You,
fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, does that make me a vampire
yeah,
slayer?
it
Like,
doesn't. You're not a.
Well,
You're,
I've met quite a few people who all of a sudden were like, maybe I'm a vampire.
I mean, but I'm the
A couple,
slayer.
but that's still more than you would think.
I don't understand how you do it. And by the way, this made so many, because I don't know if you guys have talked about the Twitter, just chef's kiss dumpster fire, but typically
Yeah.
I used to catch wind of these trending stories because I would jump on Twitter and see what was on fire that day. But I didn't even pull this from Twitter. I pulled this from regular old people Instagram. And it just why you do that? And the way that
And full
I have
chested. Full
I
chest.
haven't been on the TikToks today, but I would imagine
Ooh.
that Gen Z's gonna like
Yeah. Because the thing is, like,
because
she got away with Gen Z not really remembering. And she could have left it alone.
she
But
could have
instead,
flown under
she
the
was like,
radar. Who?
yeah.
When's the last time you talked about Gwen Stefani? When's the last time you thought about her?
No, not at all.
2004.
And now she stepped in it, and I just think, what a white lady thing to do.
So here's okay. So here's a question. Here's a question. What's more white lady thing? What's more Karen behavior? What's douchier? This or Gwyneth Paltrow, quote unquote, inventing yoga?
So Steph, Neri
Steph doesn't know
posed
this.
this. Neri
Steph
posed
doesn't know.
this question to me a couple of weeks ago
Who's
because
just listening and not watching? I am literally short circuiting.
Yeah.
because he asked me like randomly. He's like, is Gwyneth Paltrow one of those people that people hate for no reason, or has she earned it? And I'm like, oh, she's earned it. And then
Wait. To clarify, I said, is it just did she earn it before the vagina candle, or is it just or is it just a vagina candle? Because I'm fully aware of the vagina candle, and I'm fully aware that she sells super high end douchey products, right? Her Goop
Yeah.
line is super
her
douchey.
Goop lifestyle
right.
brand.
So then, do people? My question was, do people hate her just because she sells Goop or whatever the hell Goop, whatever it's called?
Such a
Does
weird
she,
name.
like, or is
Can't ever get
or is
over
it prior, or is it something that she has done personally, or is it just because, hey, look, I'm rich and I'm selling to rich people?
Well,
Like, that was my
Right.
question. It wasn't like has she earned it. It was like, has she earned it prior to this, or is this the only reason she's earned it? Because not saying that she hasn't earned it by selling Goop, but has she earned it prior to this?
she
And
has,
Right.
and there's been several instances. The yoga incident is that she was in a yoga studio and the girl
This is like in 2000.
went to explain to her how yoga works, and she was like, excuse me, I'm Gwyneth Paltrow, you have a job because I made yoga popular. It's like, yoga's been around for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Then there's another incident. The most recent incident, if we want to talk about current events, is that the New Yorker took off with this nepotism babies, or the
Nepo
baby
baby thing, yeah.
and it took off because she ran her mouth in an interview recently, and she said that she comes from a time in Hollywood where you actually had to earn your way to the roles that you wanted, and do something that produced value.
She's the epitome of Nepo baby. Like,
She comes from Hollywood royalty. Again,
Yeah.
white lady, connect the dots before it comes out of your mouth. Like, it's so easy.
So I
like,
haven't heard
yeah,
this story.
you had
I
to
have-
earn things, but you were still at the doorstep like easier
Yeah,
than other
it's
people would have
literally
been.
it's the equivalent. It's the epitome of born on third base, where you're like you're so close to home that you may have earned that base, but you only earn one base as opposed to everybody else having to earn four. Like you
Yeah.
don't.
Well,
So I've never heard the nepo baby thing. This is the first time I'm hearing the nepo baby thing,
so
and I'm just like, but you what you
so what ended up happening is that she said that douchey ass quote, and then I think the New Yorker picked it up and decided to, like, go with it. And then they ran for days on end. They ran um list after list of people that are considered nepo babies, right? From the little children that are in Euphoria all the way back to Gwyneth Paltrow and
Drew
Past that
Barrymore.
even.
Kate Hudson,
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore, like a ton of people, right?
But at least Drew Barrymore like admits
Drew
it.
Barrymore, I don't think she is a nepo baby, but she
No, she is.
No, she's
is.
a thousand
Oh,
and ten
a
percent. Oh
hundred
my god.
percent.
Who's her dad?
Her parents were super famous actor, the Barrymore family, by the way, first of all.
Oh,
And her grandfather, actually her great, not even her grandfather,
invented
I believe,
toaster strudel.
I think it's not, is it her grandfather or her great grandfather? I double checked this, but her great grandfather or her grandfather, I forget which is which. Not only was he a Hollywood actor, not only was he in Wonderful, It's a Wonderful Life, where he played the villain, he was in a wheelchair. He actually invented the boom mic. So that boom mic, that microphone that they use for movie production. So he is hyper Hollywood royalty, where not just on an actor level, but on a technical level, where he literally changed the movie making way. Like he is
Yeah,
fucking
influential.
like influential beyond, like actually influent. Like he actually did shit. It wasn't just I'm a talent. It was, oh, not only am I talent, but I'm also an innovator, where I innovated the fucking game. And that's, I believe that's her
Okay.
grandfather or her great grandfather. I don't know which is which, but either
I don't
way,
know.
she is from Uber. Drew
Okay.
Barrymore is one of
Yeah,
the like
long line.
longest long line of like Hollywood. She's the
But
epitome.
so my problem with that was,
But she doesn't
what?
deny it. She doesn't deny
She
it,
doesn't
and
deny it.
she never says anything like "I earned my way." She doesn't say anything douchey like that.
She's
In fact, she's the opposite. She says like, "I'm so lucky to be here. Like my family's
she's
here."
very cool, and Drew Barrymore is the kind of girl that you want to go out to have like chips and salsa with.
Welcome
Yeah.
back on board. We have all our.
There's an announcement, so I'm just trying to.
Oh, okay.
I'll just mute my stuff. Go ahead, continue talking.
Yeah.
So my whole thing was, and they went after all kinds of like everyone, basically everyone in Hollywood is a nepo baby. But my thing is like,
A
okay,
good chunk of them, yeah.
so what do you want me to do with this information? What am I going to boycott the internet now?
No, I think it's
these
just
children...
about I think it's just about acknowledging it, like acknowledging the fact that like, hey, Hollywood is in this place now. Well, it's been for a long time. It's not now, but pretty much it's all just generational people staying within the field, right?
Right.
And like, yeah, kind of, you have to kind of really give, like as Nair was saying earlier, give the flowers. Like you really have to give the flowers to the people who like had no connection,
Right.
and like made their way in, and then you have to really give them props to be like, bro, you made people notice you. That's something.
I just think that yes, I agree with you, and obviously there is two different, like you can leverage a lot more with a Hollywood connection than if you just off the street trying to make it, get in the door. I get that, but my thing is like, what do you want them to do about it? Like, were they not supposed to use that leverage to get
No,
ahead?
I don't think anybody
No, I
would say.
think
I again, because I'm new to this, I'm just learning this nepo baby term right now. I think the difference is when you are a nepo baby, you're grateful and you say thank you, and when the bad nepo baby, like Gwyneth Paltrow, to say like when I started with the industry, you had to have talent and earn it. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. You shut up. Just shut the fuck up and just say thank you and move on your way. Like you just can't, like that's, I think
She
the
has a
difference.
problem with that. I think a lot of it's a prevalent issue that I think in my opinion people tend to think, and this is funny because I'm a writer and I write nonfiction, so like all I do is give my opinion and insights on things. But I just think that there is an overpopulation of people that have opinions that you don't necessarily have to share. So Gwyneth Paltrow is in a perfect position where she could run Goop. Do you ever hear Victoria Beckham getting in trouble because she ran her mouth? No, she's sitting on a fat pile of money, running her business and being rich and skinny and smashing David Beckham, like, and she minds her business. So, but this is where she gets in trouble with people, like the public, not anybody that she hangs out with, because they're all a-holes just like her. Like, you just shut up. Nobody asked
the problem
you.
is, I think her problem, like many other people's, like many other, it's a dual. It all stems from the same place, but there's two things. One, she's a pretty woman, and it's like she hasn't been told shut the fuck up enough. and because she's pretty, and I know this is, I get this from comedy shows. When I do a comedy show, 90% of the hecklers are women who are either good looking or at one point in their life used to be good looking. So they've never had somebody saying, shut the fuck up. I don't care what you think, because they think I've been pretty and nobody's told me to shut up. So everybody cares about my opinion.
Yeah,
and it's
okay,
like,
so pretty privilege is definitely a thing. Yeah, sure.
We're pretty privileged. She has pretty privilege, and she has Hollywood combined with she has Hollywood privilege. So because she's in a situation of power, nobody has been like, Gwyneth, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares about your opinion, neither because you're pretty nor because you're a Hollywood actress. So with both of those things comes power, and nobody in her life. She has yes men her entire life. Nobody has, you know what I mean? She doesn't have anybody to sit her down and be like, shut the fuck up. You're stupid. You know how sometimes you and I will say something to each other and then we'll look at each other cockeyed, we're kind of sideways and be like, what the fuck are you talking about? She doesn't have that in her life. She never has that in her life. She's never had that.
Friends?
Yeah, she's never had somebody she never had real friends. She has people she hangs out with. She doesn't have real friends to look at her and be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Shut the fuck up. You're stupid. That's stupid. What
that's the problem with, like, that's where the nepo baby thing comes from too, right? Because imagine growing up in your entire life not being aware of what people who are friends with you are friends just because all your parents are filming together and you're stuck together for a while, or
you
maybe their parents want something. Yeah, exactly. And like the parents are like, look, if she's annoying you today, just let it go. Your dad's trying to work on a deal.
Yeah,
like da.
I think. But see, so I would say in the same, not to the same scale. So Gwyneth Paltrow is like the extreme Hollywood royalty example. I came across a TikTok the other day that just made me laugh so hard for several reasons. And it's this guy who calls himself, I don't know, I guess Bob the Trainer. I'm just making it up. But his screen name is something the Trainer. So he pops up on my For You page, Steph, and he's like, women don't like dad bods.
Oh, I've seen the stitches of this guy. I haven't seen the actual video.
About how he's so frustrated because it's not true and stop believing it. Oh, no, he didn't say like. He said women are not aroused by dad bods. And a couple things, dear sir. First, he looks like he should definitely have a snack. He looks hungry. Yeah. Secondly,
he sounds hungry.
Who asked you?
Yeah.
Who asked you? And then third of all, why are you speaking on behalf of the female experience?
Oh my god, but that happens with all the time. It happens all the time where guys will sit there and be like, girls aren't into that, girls on this, and they're saying it to girls, and it's like, bitch, I just said though. Like I just. But said I don't think this.
You know what the funny thing is? And I'm not defending this guy at all. I'm defending I don't think they're saying it to women. I think they're saying it to other. I think they're saying it to guys. Like they're talking to guys. Like, hey man, I've gotten so much strange in my life, and stop believing this. Like there's this like that Andrew Tate guy who I, by the way, just learned about. I just learned about him when he was taken out. when he got arrested is when I fucking, I'm like, who is this guy? Like they were like, the internet was, and I only found out because I find out shit through old people Instagram, where it's when the memes start hitting Instagram.
Trademark.
Yeah, when the memes start hitting Instagram, that's when I start finding out about shit.
That's like months later.
Yeah. So but by the way, I'm totally fine with that. Like, one of my friends is like, I this just happened sidebar on a different conversation. In our group chat, somebody sent a cute, a funny cat video to a friend of ours in the chat who is like who's a cat guy. He's one of those like I own two cats and I love my cat guys. Whatever. He's single and he's stupid, and he
Excuse
was
me.
like, and he
That's okay.
mm, I don't think they're evil. And then so he says that they send a thing, and then he goes, "Bro, I saw that on Reddit like months ago. You guys got to stop being on Instagram and Twitter and get on Reddit." And I responded with, "Nobody needs to be the first to watch a cat video. Nobody needs that. That's not a fucking thing. In the history of history, that's never been a thing where you go, I need to be first. I need to be in the ground floor of viral cat videos. Nobody needs that in their life. I don't who that's some sad
Yeah.
shit where you're like, I gotta get off this Twitter and go on Reddit because Reddit's where the cat videos take off. Like
The thing,
okay.
yes.
So anyways,
That
so
Yeah,
going
no,
back to
I
so,
only get annoyed. I only get annoyed when I will sit there and I like to curate my friends' TikTok content. I like to
Yeah.
she
send them
sends the
things where I'm
best
like,
TikToks.
so
because I send it specific to the person I'm sending it to.
so
I don't
Not
just
for people.
spam people.
yeah, but I do
However,
that with
Dave,
Instagram. I do that with Instagram as well. I only do it, but again, I'm old, so I do that with Instagram, and I'm
because
fine with
I
this.
do
By the way,
no.
I don't.
Okay, so I
do
was saying
any of
that like I do this to Dave as well. So Dave is one of the ones who I send more stuff to because I also just want him to see the things that I like. So it's just to
Just
share
kind
with
of
him
like-
later.
FYI.
Yeah, just like
This is the
like,
vibe.
yeah, this is the current thing, right? And I'm sending him stuff, and it'll annoy the shit out of me when all of a sudden, like 2 months later, he's like, hey, look at this video. I'm like, bitch.
Yeah, but
2 months
also
ago.
if you
2
send
months
him
ago,
80,
catch up.
but if you send him 87 videos, he's not. Is that that's his day?
Does
He's
he
supposed
not
be
go to the
watching-
bathroom?
Yeah,
Does he
Yeah,
not
he takes
poop?
a shit.
yeah.
He takes a
Again,
shit. He can go
I-
catch up.
I don't understand. Like I'm supposed to watch every single like me and my wife send each other shit all the time, but it's like every once in a blue moon, every once in a while it'll happen, and it happens to both of us. She'll send me a video, and I'm like, babe, I sent you that like 2 weeks ago. And again, I'm not mad because I understand that I sent her a lot. So if you didn't see it this one time, I understand. I'm
No,
not
but he'll
mad,
ask
but I
me,
just
hey, did you see that thing I sent you?
yeah.
Like, if he
Yeah.
asks me, hey, did you see that thing I sent you? And I'm like,
6 months ago.
you have like 5 in the pipeline. You got to
Yeah.
catch up.
I feel bad because I only log into TikTok to post my Instagram reels. So I'll post it on Instagram and then I'll go on TikTok and post it on TikTok. And then whenever I go log into TikTok, I'll see like your notifications and I'll go there and see people like Stephanie. I'll see you have like 72 unread messages from Stephanie, and it's stuff that she has sent me, and I just don't go through them.
Like, over
And-
months. Over
months,
months.
months. And again, not she's not the only one. My wife has sent me things, and I'm like, I don't check my TikTok for. I literally go on there and post videos and then get out. I don't do anything
no.
else.
No, every time
So-
I'll sit there and I'll be like, I'll look at a specific friend and be like, okay, I'll check out
Yeah.
stuff that you sent me. So
Yeah.
I'll sit there and just catch up on all the shit Jeff sent me. And sometimes I'll see that he and I send each other the same shit because we're both doing the same thing to each other or we're just checking every so often.
So on Instagram, I finally started seeing Andrew Tate memes. And to be fair, I did see it the day after it happened. But when he got taken down because of the pizza boxes, for those of you who've been living under a rock like I was, he was in an Instagram battle with Greta, whatever her name is.
Thunberg,
Right.
I think is how you say it.
Yeah. Which, by the way, he was
So
already
funny.
getting smoked. He was already getting smoked. Like he was.
Because
Greta
don't
was
fuck with a
beating him-
19-year-old. Like,
Greta
don't-
was beating him. Greta was beating him in a Twitter beef. She was like body slamming this dude, and then he puts out this fucking like 5-minute video response about like, oh, look at me and all my 18,000 cars, and look at all my cars. They're so
I know.
the carbon footprint, and he's like, and then he gets pizza delivered to him, and then the fucking Czech police was like, oh, he's getting pizza from this
Romanian.
Romanian. The Romanian police are like, oh, he's getting pizza from this place. That means he's in this area, and then they closed in on him. And then she again body slams him, and she's like, "That's what happens when you don't recycle your pizza boxes." And it's fucking, just slam, just bodies this dude, right? But I didn't know who he
Finish
was.
him.
But I didn't know who he was until this whole thing happened. I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy? What happened?" So then
Yo,
I read. So then, but again, it goes back to this whole like this guy, the workout guy, who's like, women are not aroused by it's like. I think there's an oversaturation of, I think, these fucking, I guess they're simps. Is that what you call them? These guys who are like these guys who are
Incels,
like
maybe.
cells, right? These guys who are like
Incels.
insecure about their manhood, and they have to overcompensate because they fucking see, guys being sensitive. It's like, are you crying? You're a pussy. Women don't like that. Women like real men, and it's like this
Oh my
this
gosh.
fucking. And then I
Yeah.
started
But like,
reading
how
up
will
on
you
all
know?
these. I started reading up on like Andrew Tate and like all the, forget about the human trafficking. I'm not saying forget about it, but I'm not speaking about that. I'm speaking about the behavior of like if women like to be slapped around and fucked hard, and then it's like, what? No, wait, what? That's not.
So
Yeah.
so
So that's who they're talking to. They're talking to other douchebag kids.
Yeah. Other guys
that's
who are
fine.
like alpha male,
But
Yeah,
like,
it,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I'm
but
a
I
high
guess
value man.
but you
I
invite me to have an opinion about it when you
yeah, yeah.
speak on my behalf on
Mm-hmm.
what I like and don't like.
Correct.
And I have to tell you, I have a theory that I'm working on. It's not very polished, but I'm thinking like if you can enjoy a plate of food to such an extent that you have a little squish here
You
and
like to
there
eat. You like to have the
because
appetite.
you indulge, shall we say, like the pleasure principle of life. That's what we call in HR a transferable skill set. So if you can indulge yourself to such an extent that you're not even worried that you have a little truck, a little dump, whatever you want to call it,
Pudge.
I wonder, and I look forward to getting to the bottom of this theory. I wonder how transferable those skill sets are.
They usually are pretty transferable.
I'm
Gotta say.
saying. So if and the thing is that like, everyone has their likes and dislikes. Tall burly men are my thing. I prefer Jason Momoa when he's not training for Aquaman and he has that little like, Hawaiian
Little
like
little. Yeah. It's so cute.
girl.
The pudge.
I
It's so
mean,
cute.
I love that. I mean, I'll take him anyway, obviously. But call me. But to generalize, like it's the same thing. Conversely, if I were to make a video like that, and I would say, "Hey, women, men don't like chubby women." Yes, the fuck they do. Yes, they do.
I've
So
always gotten hit on way more when I've been
I
like
got hit on
thicker
at the
than when I've been
wait.
skinny.
In the waiting room of the lab appointment this morning. I was like, you're gonna buy me, no? Okay, all right, next time. Like, I find it supremely annoying when you speak on behalf of somebody else's life experience. Like, I could probably get away with generalizing the woman's experience because I have an in-depth experience on being a woman and existing in this world. Hi, Hilda! Love you.
Hi.
But I would never be like, what Neri needs is this, and that. That's not my business. My job is to be his friend, and in terms of like vulnerability, which I'm a big fan of, like I love nothing more than when anyone can show the entire, their entire emotional palette, if you will.
I
But
gotta take a picture, you guys.
backtracking to this gentleman talking about like women don't like
Gentlemen. It's hilarious.
shut the up. Like, who, you know what that reminded me of? Remember in How I Met Your Mother when like Robin is under the table and Patrice says something and she's like, nobody asked you, Patrice. Like,
Yes.
nobody asked you to tell me what I like and don't like. I know what I like and don't like, and don't shame these dad bod like big boys now that SZA made that song fucking hot. Don't shame them into a diet. Some of us need them.
She needs to actually release that song. Rather, I was so sad when I found out it was an SNL skit. I
It's
was
an
like,
SNL
no.
skit, but that little clip and that trend took off on TikTok. I may or may not have taught my machine to like spit those videos out.
Well, I sent her a picture of a guy, right, Messi? I sent you a video of a guy who's like super, that like So we've talked about this before. My algorithm is not like I've talked about this with Mike when he was like, "There's spoilers all over the internet." I'm like, I don't see any spoilers because my algorithm has not been taught that. My algorithm has been taught to look at puppy videos, to look at San Francisco 49er stuff, and to look up internet holes. Right? That's where I'm not using the term in a negatory way. By the way, I'm using it like, hey, this I'm all.
No,
I'm
this
not.
is. I thought
It's
the
not
third one was
negative.
gonna. I thought the third one was gonna be food, but my bad.
No,
That's
it's
that's
not.
that's
But
my
it's
fault.
no, it's not. Oh, and then health like super like fitness workout tips and blah 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 whatever. So that's my thing. And when I say internet holes, I don't mean it in a negative way. I mean it like women, sex workers who are like, hey, look, check out my OnlyFans.
Okay,
And
different. That's
half
very
naked.
different.
Okay, I don't. I didn't mean it in a negative way contextually. I didn't mean. I apologize if I offended any holes. I don't think that. I don't think that. Why are holes are not offended? That's what I'm trying to point out to you. Anyways, so
Land the plane.
so my whole thing is work. So in that comes the workout reels, right? So workout reels. Check this out. And there's a reel of a dude who legit is like very muscular on top, but he has like he's still a muscular dude. I don't know if you have the do I have, but he has like a
Oh, did I save it? Oh, I don't know. Just give me a second.
but his stomach is very much it's very like
Like he has a little thing where just like
He has a
Right.
squish.
he has
He
a
has a
squish,
squish,
and
but
here's the
like
thing. So here was my mentality. So I'm watching this video, right? And I literally said to myself, that's the body that I want. Like I was like, that's what I want to go for. Where I don't believe I'm ever gonna have a six pack, and I'm getting to a point now where I'm losing more weight, and I'm getting to a point now and I'm building muscle. But I noticed that I have what everybody has when they're super obese and they start losing weight. They have the excess skin. So my excess skin, is what like I'm gonna get to when I lose another 40 because that's my goal. Is I'm gonna be the prime candidate for a tummy tuck. Like they're gonna be like you need a tummy tuck. But this guy is the example of like this is what happens when you don't get a tummy tuck when you just work out and you're just like a fucking now
and you
used
still
to
eat
be
snacks.
you used to be fat and now you worked out and you're still a big dude, but you have that that
And
flabby
my favorite-
that
my-
soft tummy
my
and I'm like
favorite-
that's gonna be me. And I literally watching this reel
That's
going like
good.
this is what I want to look like. I want to look like
That's
this,
a healthy
where-
goal, I think. Like
That's-
you're like, I still
that's
want to
where-
live, but I want to feel good. Like I also want to be.
Well,
do
my
this.
thing is more like I just want to work out, but I'm fully aware that I'm never gonna have that flat six pack because of my lifestyle before, because of the excess amount of skin. That
Oh,
I have.
see,
I'm
I
fully
take a
aware.
different approach where I want you to enjoy the gym like you enjoy a burger because I feel like balance is key. I just it's just a theory that I'm working on. I don't know if it's true or not. And to Neri's credit, he sends me that video. He back before the pandemic, he used to flood my DMs with rugby players because I would make him if he called me and he's like, "Oh, a rugby game was on," I'd be like, "Flip the fucking camera, flip the camera right now," and
They are
and
some
I'd make
beefy
him
dudes.
like,
Oh, you would love some Maori men.
"Ma'am,
You would love a Maori man.
what I'm thinking I can't say because it's mean, but I'm just waiting for a couple circumstances to, see themselves out and I am on the next flight to the other side of the planet, I swear. But
Because like the Maori dudes, especially the ones from New Zealand, so freaking nice. They're so freaking nice.
Okay,
and they're
sure.
adorable. And they're so much to your type. Like
just I don't want listen, if you're watching and you have a dad bod, don't let anyone shame you out of it. Okay? And also,
Yeah.
Missy the writer is my handle. Just slide into the DMs. Let's talk.
there's an open door.
Let's talk.
You know what's
My
funny?
favorite with that trend in the videos, my favorite has been like what comes up on my feed is like also like a really actually just a regular buff dude trying to like dance or do something to that song, and it's just a woman cutting him off and be like, "No, not you."
Not you. Yeah,
Not you.
there
It's
is
not for
a
you.
criteria.
It's
There
Yeah,
is a
like,
criteria.
I need cuddle. I need.
I think I just
Wait.
I don't think that there's and I can't believe that they're just catching on to this stuff. Like, not for nothing. Obviously, he's my ex-husband for a lot of other reasons, but I was crushing on my ex-husband and he was fat. He wasn't chubby, he was fat, and I was chubby, like crushing on him. But I think that, to shame somebody, anyone, like for you to speak on, like you as a man to be like, women don't like dad bods. You're trying to shame your fellow bros into feeling like shit about themselves, so they go to the gym because that's like berating them. Is somebody somewhere said that that's going to motivate them, and it
It works for
doesn't.
some people. It works for some people.
Well, I
Like
think
it's just
Yeah,
one of those things
those
where,
people need to go to therapy.
well,
Cool.
but it's funny. So I was talking about this. I forgot who I was talking about this to. But I was talking. So growing up as a kid, like I've always been fat, right? Always been fat. Always been. And I remember my mom, and then this is not to put blame, or this is just the way when my sister, when we were growing up, and my sister was like 14, 15. My sister was, a bigger kid. She was a big girl. My mom, because my mom didn't know, she thought that was a way to help. She was like, "Oh, está gorda," like a Hispanic, very Hispanic, traditional minded, "Está gorda, está gorda." And so, what she wanted to say was, "Hey, I'm worried about your health." That's what she wanted to say, but that's not what she said. That she said, "Está gorda," and no comas eso. Don't eat that. You're gonna be fat. You're gonna get fatter. You're gonna gain weight. You're gonna be fat. To whatever kind of weird, it worked for my sister, because my sister got it in her mind that she needed to lose weight. So my sister went into this whole thing where she lost weight, and the last time
Yeah,
she
but
was a
like in a
big girl,
not great way.
not in a great reason, but it worked. Where just a couple years later, when I came along, and I was it started early when I was like 8 years old, 7 years, 8 year old. My mom would tell me the same thing: "You're fat, está gordo, está gordo," and that did not work for me. That mentality literally would make me eat more out of fucking spite, out of straight up spite. And again, I'm not blaming my mom. This isn't a blame thing. This isn't, oh, my mom, I'm this fat because of my mom. It's the other way. I'm fully aware. My mom and I have an amazing relationship, and I'm fully aware that was my mom's way of trying to do things. It wasn't the right way, but it's the best way she knew.
I mean,
It's
you could
the
still
only.
have a
It's
tight relationship with your parents and still recognize their flaws.
no, no.
Like,
Again, like
like
that's what
that
I'm
wasn't the
saying.
right way to do that.
What I'm saying, but the reason I give that disclaimer is to say, like, I'm not blaming her and I'm not mad at her. It's to say, like, hey, I'm like,
Mm.
I'm fully understanding of looking back at it now. Like that was in her mom, in my mom's mind, that was the right move because it worked with your
Mm.
sister, so it's gonna work with you, and it didn't. It was the other. It was very much the opposite. Where I guess I was a contrarian even back then, because I'm like, I'm gonna dig my heels in and eat more pizza. Because now that you said that, now I'm gonna. And it was one of those things where it never really worked with me, but it does work for some people. Like there's a very, very, and again, I'm not shitting on him, his accomplishments, or his style. I'm just saying different styles work for different people. David Groggins, I don't know if you know who David Groggins is a uber famous workout motivational speaker. His
Mhm.
story is a bonkers, amazing story of like him being super obese and him basically literally talking his way into like, get up, you fat motherfucker, you're fucking useless piece of shit, fuck you. And then he talked himself, saying that to himself, and he is now a world renowned, uber, super famous, super successful motivational speaker. Where he believes, like he has that no holds barred, quote unquote, no holds barred. I'm gonna call you fat because you're fat type of shit, and like stop feeling sorry
Ugh.
for yourself and blah blah blah. It's worked for so many. It's worked for millions of people.
Yeah,
That
but then
the
for other people,
that
it triggers
motivation,
them into an ED,
but
man.
but again, it's just not my style. And even 2 years ago, when I started on my journey of trying to lose weight, I had a friend of mine, Steph. I don't know if you remember Ellie Rodriguez, local comedian, Miami comedian
Hmm.
Ellie Rodriguez. She's lost 80 pounds in like 3 years. She's been at it for like 3 or 4 years now. So she started way before I did. But she started with the motivation of David Goggins, and she sent me like, she was like, "Hey, if you're gonna get into this, check out David Goggins." And I checked out his thing, and I immediately replied. I was like, "Hey, man, I'm glad it's working out for you. He's just not my cup of tea. That's not my cup of motivation. I love motivational quotes, and I love watching motivational speakers, but he's just not my brand. I'm not.
He's
I
too
don't.
downbeat.
He's too. I don't need a drill sergeant in my face. I don't fucking need that. I don't need that. Hey, what the fuck are you doing, maggot? Like, I don't fucking, not that he says that. I'm just saying, like, that's the
Yeah.
vibe that he gives me.
Is
And I
this the Liver
just,
King guy or
no,
somebody
that's not,
else?
no, that's the very, no, no. Liver
See, that
King
one
is
was
not a
funny.
legit, Liver King is not a legit, health. Like David Goggins is a legit personal trainer. He is like world renowned. He's like real. He's just that his way of motivating people is just not my cup of tea. Is all. That's all I'm saying. I'm not shitting on David Goggins. I'm not shitting on. I'm just saying I don't respond well to his techniques, to his style. And it's funny because the people who I do respond to on Instagram, the trainers on Instagram, and they love David Goggins. But I'm like, I'm glad you love him, but I'm not into his style. But it's funny how I'm into. You get me? It's like the people that the people that I look forward to, the people that I look up to as far as motivation, they look up to David Goggins, and I'm like, that's cool. Whatever gets your motor going is my whole thing is like whatever gets your motor going. Goggins just doesn't do it for me, but I'm glad that it worked out for you. So that's all I'm trying to say is that whole thing. But there's a whole group of people who that shit they respond to that. That's my whole landing the plane. It's
I think that yes, obviously everybody's gonna respond to things differently. In my personal experience, it definitely didn't work. I'm not gonna like go into details because she's still alive, but it was pretty bleak. I'll give you one story. This is like a very tame story, but I mean, for my experience, we'll find out from your reaction.
Let's see.
So like, I want to say 2004 maybe. We had like a dinner party down here or whatever. And my mom had a friend over that she's known since forever. And I hadn't seen her son in like 10 years. And he grew up and he was really hot. And back then I was 100 and some change pounds heavier, right? So end of the night where they left or whatever. And I'm like, Mom, I really think so-and-so's son is cute. And this woman was like, well, he doesn't like fat girls. So you need to get on a diet. And that's one of the tamer stories. So when I tell you that, like, it could work for certain population of people, I respect that. Like, that's what helps you. To me, and I've said this, I was just having this conversation on Friday with some friends. Like, for me, right? There's 3 things I need from you in order for me to listen to you. First, I need you to be like a legit somebody in the nutrition or fitness world. You need to be certified. You need to be a coach. You need to be something legit so that I know that you're coming not from the Google machine, but from actual knowledge, first of all. Second of all, there is this is a complicated order. So the expectation isn't for everyone to always get it right. I've just because I've sat with this for so long, like this is what I know I need. There is a specific way that you need to speak to me in terms of choices of words and tone for me to listen to you. Otherwise,
so
my shields are up and we're done. I'm not listening to you. So there's a third one, but my ADD isn't pulling up that file right now. But the point is that I can't. That's what it is.
The third one is you can't use any words that your mother has used on you in the past.
No, the third one is that but that's
you told me that you have literally said you can't use words that my mother has used on me
because you have.
She has said so many.
I have to be like there. That's just what it is. So honestly,
I gotta say it was a tamer story compared to some other stories you told me, but still I have to say, if I ever speak to my daughter that way, you have full permission to get on a plane, come over here, and slap me.
No, but because this is the thing is that we
can't do that shit no more.
Like, we are of a generation that was wounded by this kind of strategy, and now we will not do that to the generations I never go up to a little girl and I'm never like, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. I never compliment little girls on if they're pretty or not. I always call them brilliant and big and whatever. Like, I try my best, and even if I'm like one of like they never hear it again, like I want the satisfaction to at least put it out there that you're before you're beautiful, you're brilliant. Like I want everyone to think that. But we come from a generation that was broken by those kinds of strategies. Sure, it's effective. I'm not negating that it's not effective. Obviously it's effective. It works.
But there's
I
always a little something in the back there that it got affected by it.
I
Like,
just
it's
want
always
I
like,
wonder like I just wonder how affect like in the long run, do you really like yourself if they had to berate you into losing weight, or did you like I don't know. I just so but that
I
that's
don't. Mhm. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off.
that's just my perspective, and that's always going to be my approach. So really only like trained medical professionals are the ones that I will listen, like, because I just don't, you
you said it was
have
a
to know.
complicated order. It's kind of,
I'm a
it
super
was it.
complicated order. I
Yeah.
don't mean to be,
It's
but I
not
also
though. It's not
but
a.
the trauma
It's
that I have attached to nutrition and fitness and my body is legit. Like, they used to make me walk home from the gym because I would cry at the gym because I didn't want to be at the gym. So I would start crying because I was
how old are
12.
you?
I
Wait,
was
why were you at the
12.
gym at 12?
And as punishment, they used to make me walk home from the gym.
You
That's not
see,
going to
like,
give you a healthy relationship with your body.
so
So because of that, if a friend now tries to be like, hey, da 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 da, I'm not trying to hear it. And it's not their fault. They could have the perfectly, like, great, like, wholesome intentions behind whatever they're trying to say, but the wiring in here is not going to listen to it because
yeah.
they
So
already ruined it.
yeah. So like I don't I think I don't know. There's so many things. I am not against whatever works. Like I'm not if it works for you or works for you. Like I said, the same kind of attempt to motivation did not work on me than it worked for my sister, and we're genetically from the same parents. We're we were raised the same way and stuff like that. So it works for some and it doesn't work for others. And as a parent, and again, I'm not defending she's upbringing. I'm not defending that. As a parent, it is tough because you only do with what you know, right? Like I'm
Right.
doing, like I don't think well, not I don't want to say any, but there's some evil fucking people out there that kill their own kids. But for the most part, you don't go out there and be like, I'm gonna fuck up my kid's psyche. You're doing the best
The
you
best,
can.
yes.
You're doing the best you can, and the best you can may suck. It may be the wrong thing to do, but you don't know that. You don't actively know that. You don't actively go, I'm
Yeah.
gonna fuck this kid up. So it's a very difficult balance as a parent, and I will say I don't um like I don't even think that's wrong for somebody to be like, hey, you're gonna like what. I remember somebody telling me this. I remember I was like 15, 16 years old, and I was again super fat, and I said I want to lose weight to somebody at the gym, and they looked at me and they said, I think right now we have to start you off with just walking to the gym, not even getting into the gym, just walking to the gym and walking back. And I think once you get used to that, where you could do that without like passing out or wanting to fucking die, then you could start worrying about going into the gym. And again, same
That's a measurable goal.
same again same premise that her parent that Missy's upbringing was doing, like that story of her walking home. It's the same thought process except that they went about it in a different way. So
It's not really
when
though. It's
it
not the
is
same
it is
process.
so
Though
what
this person was giving you a measurable goal for something you already expressed you wanted to do.
again, but the result was the same. The thing was, hey, you're gonna get exercise, and if you have to walk from the gym or walk to the gym, then so be it. Again, the delivery system was fucked up. I'm totally on board with the delivery system. First of all, the fact that you're calling it a punishment immediately, psychologically, puts a negative a tag on it. Immediately, we're triggered. Our mind is taught that punishment equals bad.
I
Did I
was just gonna
preach?
point out the comments
Oh yeah, what are the comments? I'm
to
sorry.
go along with what you're talking about.
Um, so Hilda says, break the cycle. It's not our job to automatically honor everything about our ancestors. It's our job to help create a better future generation. Christy says, FYI, generally Hispanic older women don't care about our health. They really just say it for romantic prospects and society beauty standards, especially if they are talking to daughters and females.
Yeah,
Yeah, again, it's a
that's the
cultural
experience
thing.
we
Yeah.
grew up with. Yeah, that's the experience as Hispanic women that we grow up with. Is a lot of times the skinnier bodies, regardless of whether that skinnier body is healthier than the heavier body, is what is ideal for that generation, because they're so worried about you having all these prospects and opportunities and that used to have to be around this
Right.
stuff, that they'll forget that it doesn't have to be that way now.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
Yeah,
and they'll
and again, I'm not defending them. It's just like from where they come from, that was the mindset in that time frame, in that country, in that
But
society. Like it's not like out of nowhere. They're not pulling this out of their ass and being like, well, I think, it's just like that's like my parents. I literally grew up with my parents telling me that I needed a college degree. My father verbally said this to me multiple times throughout growing up. It doesn't matter what in this country, it doesn't even matter what the degree is in, as long as you have that piece of paper. You can't go
that
anywhere. You
used to
can't
be
do it.
true,
You can,
yes.
and it used to be true. It used to be true in the 80s. As an immigrant coming over to this country, if you don't have a college degree, you couldn't really expect to amount to anything financially if you did not have a college degree. Like that was a thing. Like you know what I mean? Like my dad worked as a security guard at a cockfighting rink. Like that was his, like, because he knew, like, hey, this is my limitation. I'm new to this country and I don't have a college degree. So his teachings to his children were, you need a college degree. And he would literally say, it doesn't matter in what, you just need that piece of paper. And that may have been true at a certain point in time. It's just not true now. So his advice, as bad, as incorrect as it was, as inaccurate as it was, wasn't out of malice. It was just like that's what he knew.
okay, but yes. However,
However,
the end result of you getting a degree impacts your capacity for prosperity in terms of economic, like, stability and your future and a house and like the American dream, right? So
Well,
for
the
you,
90s version of the American dream. Yeah.
right. So
sure,
for
sure.
you, so the end result of telling you to go to school is a college degree, which will lead to the domino effect of you landing in a house and whatever.
Well,
That's
in a perfect world, in a
Yeah, yeah,
quote
sure, sure.
unquote perfect world,
we're talking
the
about the
positives.
advice in the we're going back in time and going back to the time period of when they're shelling out this advice. Like it made sense back then.
Right.
Because in the context of the norms and the trends, economic trends, and then it made sense that yes, you do need a degree
Right.
in order for you to get ahead in life. However,
Yeah.
when you fuck with somebody's value as a person to where they are at a deficit, either physically, to where your physical appearance is subject to criticism wherever you are, no matter what, and then whether or not you deserve or if there's guilt attached to a plate of food and a cup of water, that those consequences are completely different. You back then you probably didn't think about it because you were a woman that was raised by another woman who was raised in the 50s, who was, you know what I mean? So like the
Right.
generational thing went back to where that was the norm. So yes, you get a pass in that you didn't know any better. But, and I'm not saying that this is what you said, but what I'm saying is, like, yes, you get a pass for doing the best that you can. Absolutely. Like, that's all any of us is doing. Nobody knows what the fuck we're doing. Like, we're just trying our best to stay alive at this point. But the consequences, the damage is different than trying to tell you to go to school so that you get a degree and then you're financially stable. It's
Yeah, and then
not
a lot of times that advice, to build off of what Missy is saying, is a lot of time that advice ends up defining you as a person
correct.
That
and
and
actually
that's and
putting
that's
value to you via your body, which is not something we can always control.
which so to play off of that, to piggyback of what you're saying, Steph, total agreement, by the way. So Missy, the positive of, like, I'm it feels like what you're saying is like, yeah, but the worst that could happen from your dad telling you to go to college is you getting a college degree. It's like, or that's the best positive outcome. The best positive outcome of somebody telling you you need a college degree in this country to succeed financially is getting a college degree. However, if college is not in you. College is not in me, man. It's just not. A college education is just not. I'm not built for that. I'm like I went to college for 7 years. It's a joke I do on stage about me getting about Miami-Dade Community College getting a degree before I did. I did not like. I'm just not built for that. And for a long time, and again, I'm not blaming anybody. This isn't like, ooh, woe is me shit. The negative aspect to telling somebody that you need a college degree is not feeling adequate as a both as a person, as a human being, right? As a member of society and as a man. I can't be, I'm not adequate enough as a man because I don't have a college degree, because I'm not successful financially because I don't have a college degree.
But that's you. That's the patriarchal thing being pushed on you because you have to feel like you have to provide.
Correct. So again, but it all goes. But again, this is all hand in hand. And again, this is not a woe is me, and I don't want to make it seem as if and I don't want to seem as if one is worse than the other. I'm saying that there are negative things to every, and again, there are people with that same mentality who were told by their parents, "Hey, you need a college degree." You know, there are multiple cultures that stereotypically are very much like you need to be a doctor or an engineer. And that's what drives them to become doctors and engineers. And again, not saying this in a good way. I'm saying, like, you know, people take it however they want to take it. I'm just saying that there are negatives more so than just the end result is you getting a college degree. Well, there's also the other side of that coin where the end result is me feeling inadequate as a human being and as a man because college is not for me.
So then if I'm gonna backpedal to my previous rant, which it's funny but it's not, because these idiots, these bros on the internet, it's just so much fun to watch them. It's the best reality show you're gonna watch on TV right now. But going back to what I was saying is that, again, I can't comment like what it means for me to go to school and get a degree and the impact of doing it or not doing it, right? Although on paper is the same, the experience is completely different. So you have had to deal with the connotation of like not being a adequate man because you haven't set up to provide for yourself or your future family. Like that is also damaging. That is another result to that. So to your point, some people can be berated into motivation and it works. And then some people, you do that to them and it fucking damages them for the rest of their life.
Or alternatively, it works just on the surface, but internally that person is carrying hatred for their own body from there on in their lives.
And self-loathing is the backbone of the economy. It really is. Like, so
capitalism needs self-loathing to survive.
They need you to hate yourself. Look at it. My car is a year old. And like 2 weeks ago, I was like, I think I need a new car. And everybody that I said that to was like, your car's a year old. What do you need a new car for? And I'm like, I want it.
That's not what I said. I said you're fucking crazy.
I was trying to be nice.
Fucking mind.
Are you like, you know what I mean? And I was like, but I just want it. And they're like, but you don't need it. And I'm like, right, but I want it. So, in the same way, like, there are people that grow up very educated on what like luxury brands and labels and stuff like that.
Goop.
So like Goop, and like I didn't know what Michael Kors was until, I shit you not, Steph, I was with the other Stephanie at Dolphin Mall like 15 years ago, and the outlet for Michael Kors was like coming soon, like that kind of thing. And we're walking through Dolphin Mall, and she's like, oh, they're putting on Michael Kors. And I was like, who's Michael Kors? And her head did the Exorcist, like, she's like, what the fuck do you mean? And I'm like, I don't know who that is. I shop at Target. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it was really in that time.
So, you know, I think, so there's a lot of different nuances and a lot of moving pieces in how people approach things. I think I'm always going to come from a place of like, you know, just be nice to yourself. Like, and also don't, like, two things. First of all, like, it's a weird thing because on the one hand, I'm like, be nice to yourself. Like, you know, be nice to yourself, whatever that means. Just be nice to yourself, but also don't be an asshole and talk on my behalf, because I'm coming for you. So it's like, it's half crunchy, half like, because I'm not. That's how I'm built. But I can see why.
Crunchy to the point where it becomes a shiv. Like you're like
Correct. You're in danger at a certain point. So,
Yeah.
but again, like, that's what I'm saying is, like, I think that, going back to the funny video of the hungry man talking about, women aren't aroused by dad bods. Don't take that shit away from me, man. I'm coming into my prime with that. Don't take it away from me now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that's why, and that's all I meant to say. Out of all this is like whatever works for you works for you. Like whatever motivation or whatever direction, whatever works for you works for you. I just I have I used to be very much like that movie sucks, right? I used to be that guy, and then I've learned almost recently, maybe like 2 years ago, to be like, hey, maybe you don't just yell that into the ether and just don't for the sake of saying it. Maybe if somebody asks you, do you like this movie, you could be like, no, I didn't like this movie. But maybe just let people like whatever the fuck they like, and
Yeah.
that could be a thing. Like I had to
Be like
learn
that movie wasn't made for me.
that movie wasn't made for me. I had to learn that because, and it's one of the things that really grinds my gears is now when I see people's posts when they say, hey, FY, like just randomly they'll see a post and be like, this show and or movie and or music band and or whatever sucks. Don't watch it. Don't listen to it. And it's like, what I like,
Well,
it
now I'm
really
gonna.
it really grinds my gears because I'm like, oh fuck, like who the fuck are you? Like that, what kind of shit is that?
Yeah.
Like, and this is coming from somebody who has multiple movie review podcasts and fucking TV show podcasts. It's like, who, like, just, you know what I mean? Like, you could be like, hey, I'm gonna give my opinion about this movie. If somebody asks me my opinion, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, it really grinds my fucking gears when somebody goes like, hey man, if you were thinking about watching this TV show, don't. It fucking sucked. It's like, what? Go fuck yourself. Like, why are you saying that? Like, why are you putting that out into the ether? And there was that story on Instagram. I posted this. It was a reel where this girl learned that lesson where she, like, somebody goes, oh, I think somebody brought up, I forgot what TV show it was. It was I think it was like Rick and Morty or whatever. And she said, oh, Rick and Morty sucks. And then like like person A was talking to person B and be like, oh, Rick and Morty. And then she, being person C, goes, Rick and Morty sucks. And then somebody had to come up to her afterwards and be like, hey, that was a pretty shitty thing to say. It's like, what? But Rick and Morty sucks. It's like, but nobody asked you your opinion. Why can't you just let them have their let them enjoy their thing? Like, if they're enjoying something, why, like, did you have a need to fucking shit on somebody else's likes? And that's, in the last couple of years, I've been really realizing like, oh, maybe I did do that in the past. And I don't know if I did that in the past. I definitely don't think I did. No, because my thing has always been, hey, I love this shit. And that shit
Yes, sure.
My thing has,
but you
for the most
always
part,
did it you always did it in terms of like when you were trying to troll people or jokes or things like that.
No,
It's when you'd be like, oh, let's get into it. I don't like it. Like, you would specifically try to mess with people, be like, nah, I hate that. Even though it's something you're like, and then afterwards, 5 minutes in the conversation, you'd be like, no, because you've done this where you're like, you wait, and then like 2 minutes in the conversation, you're like, I didn't even watch it. I'm fucking with you.
Yeah.
Like,
I would love to know when that happened, because again, I don't even want to say I didn't do that. I'm saying I don't remember doing that because I'm like, I don't even, but my whole thing was always been like, hey, I really love this thing. And then, like, for example, give an example of something. I really love the new Star Wars trilogy, right? The last Star Wars trilogy, which a lot of people have opposite feelings about. And I would just be like, I really loved it. And then I welcome a conversation about it. I'm fine with it. But I don't feel like I went out of my way to, or maybe if I did, I'm sorry. But I don't feel like I went out of my way to be like,
no,
this thing that you like sucks. And it's like, what? How about
this is not like me saying like, oh, you used to say that kind of thing publicly. This is like usually just like in a friend group scenario where you would just fuck with one of us.
Yeah,
but I'm just I come from a place. I try to come from a place of like, hey, I really like this thing. Yeah. And then if you didn't like the thing, then we could go into it back and forth. And I find I welcome a back and forth. But to open up the conversation with this shit sucks, it's like, well, Jesus, buddy, take it down. I don't know.
That's why when I chuckled to myself when Robert Pattinson was announced as the new Batman, and all the men everywhere on the internet, and I'm generalizing, I know that I am, but for the sake of the story, all the men were like, "Man, I can't believe they hired the Twilight guy. What is Batman gonna glitter now?" And blah 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 blah. And then the first trailer dropped, and it got real quiet. It got
what's
so
funny?
quiet.
I was the exact opposite, where it was like, well, let's give him a shot. That's not the casting I would have gone with, but let's see what happens. And then the
That
first
has to
trailer
be a
dropped,
reason.
and then the first trailer dropped, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't like it. And everybody else was like, this shit is amazing. Oh my
Yeah.
god! And I was like, why is his hair parted in the middle? That's fucking stupid.
That
right?
was my.
But that's
That
was my
the
fucking-
same
I was
thing
like-
I focused on.
I was like, why is his
Was
hair
like,
parted
why
in
is
the
he
middle?
emo?
What is he
Why is
fucking Dennis?
Batman
What is
emo?
he? What is he, Dennis the Menace? What's fucking happening here? Why is his hair parted down the middle? Hey, alfalfa. Why is this? Why is this? Why is alfalfa?
And that's the thing
And I
is
was the
that,
exact
like,
opposite. I was like the casting. I was like, let's give it a shot. Wait.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're doing it, but let's see what happens. And then the first trailer drops, and everybody's jerking off, and I'm like, but his hair's stupid, right? Nobody. His hair's not stupid.
So the thing is that what he was most known for at the time was Twilight, but he at that point had built a pretty reputable like
Acting reel
resume,
kind of thing,
I guess. Yeah, acting reel for very prominent and like, you know, artsy prestigious films. So the talent was there, but obviously pop culture is pop culture. So like you think of Robert Pattinson, you're going to think of Twilight. I mean, I am, but that's because that's how I came to know him. I know other people know him from Harry Potter or whatever. But that's an example of where like people were out the gate were like, and then it got real quiet after the trailer, and then vice versa. Like Neri was like, hey, maybe he'll be good. You don't know, and then he hated the trailer. So it is what it is. Like
I
let
didn't hate
people
the
go
trailer.
on
I
their
just didn't like the
journeys.
trailer, but I didn't even like the movie. I was like, I'm not even a big. But again, I didn't publicly go like, if you're thinking about watching the Batman, don't. I'm like, what?
Because of the way his
What?
hair's parted. No.
Because I didn't like. I wasn't a fan of the movie in general, but the trailer I definitely didn't like. Anyways, whatever. My whole point is I didn't go out there to like promote
Yeah.
the fucking
Negativity.
like the negativity. I'm like, I don't understand. Like it's the same thing when people watch a movie and their immediate reaction is to shit on something else to talk about how good what they just saw was. And there's a couple of examples of that in my life where I have a friend who watched Endgame, right? And he saw Endgame, and his immediate, like, he posted it on social media. His immediate reaction, like, oh my God, yo, DC's in trouble. Like, that was his reaction, was to immediately shit, bro, DC's got a long way to go. And I'm like, that's your fucking response? Your immediate,
These are unrelated things.
Your immediate gut reaction is to shit on DC because you want to talk about how great you liked Marvel? Like, I don't understand that logic. To me, doesn't make sense. Like, that logic to me, other friends have seen a movie and they'll be like, no, that's how you fucking do a movie. Fuck you, other director from other franchises. Like, okay. I just never, my mindset doesn't go that way. My mindset's never like, let's shit on something to bring something else up. Like, it doesn't work that way in my mind. But to each his own, everybody does whatever the fuck they want to do.
Let everybody go down their own journey. Just mind your business too. Like balance it out.
I know it's a 2023 supposed to be like a self. What is it? People want to just make themselves better as humans rather than do resolutions. Is what I've seen as the current trend.
Hey man,
I think part of that is just mind your business.
Mind your mother business.
Well, it's like what Eddie Murphy said. Do it. You just be.
That was so great.
You pay your taxes.
You brought up.
You mind your business, and you keep Will Smith's wife out your motherfucking mouth. That's it.
Yeah, which was fantastic. Speaking of the Golden Globes, really quick, the fact that you touched on it, I've been like, I didn't get to see it. I've only been able to see it secondhand through TikTok videos and stuff like that. The fact that the actor who played like Data and Short Round got like, I'm like weirdly emotional about this man that I've only saw as a child, finally getting a freaking Golden Globe.
Well, not only finally getting a Golden Globe, he did it. He went 27 years without an acting job. Yeah. He did not, and it wasn't for lack of try. It wasn't for lack of trying. Just nobody would hire him in 27 years and like 25 years or whatever it was. And so when his story is so powerful, and it speaks on multiple levels of A, being typecast,
Hmm.
B, the
Hollywood
racial,
being
the Hollywood,
Hollywood.
Hollywood be, the racial undertone of Hollywood,
Hmm.
of like, oh well, we don't need this part doesn't call for an Asian actor, and it's like, well, but I'm just an
For
actor.
what?
It
Yeah.
doesn't have to, like, it doesn't, you know what I mean? Um, so it's so weird so that story hits so hard for me. I remember
Hmm.
we posted about it on Movie Bros, our movie review podcast. It posted about it because his acceptance speech was like, I thought for 27 years, I thought that was the best I had, was I peaked when I was a kid, that I didn't have anything else to offer, because I did Indiana Jones when I was 8 years old, and that's it. That's the best I ever got. That's the best that I deserve. And it wasn't until almost 30 years later where somebody else goes, well, maybe you're good for something else.
But
And
isn't
it's like,
every that isn't the movie that he won for also directed by Steven Spielberg?
no. Everything and Everywhere at Once is not directed by Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg has nothing to do with that one, with that movie. The movie that now Steven Spielberg did get Best Picture. He did win Best Picture for. He did win the Golden Globe for Best Picture for the movie that he is directing. But those two stories are nothing in between. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
He just thanks Steven Spielberg for his first break.
he did
Also,
That
thank
that's
Jennifer
Steven, yeah, he did thank
Jennifer
so
Steven
cute.
Spielberg for that because he was in the room. So
Jennifer Coolidge is just like give her a mic always. She's just her acceptance speech and like the bit when she was presenting was just so great. I love her.
well,
And
tell
she's
tell
all
Stephanie the bit because
Yeah,
Stephanie
because that part I
that
didn't see.
so
she
Jennifer
hasn't seen that TikTok.
No.
So I'll send it to you. But
Thank you.
Jennifer Coolidge won a Golden Globe for her role in The White Lotus. So she gets up, and I'm not gonna do it justice because I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm not Jennifer Coolidge. So, but she basically does this whole bit about like she thanks the director of White Lotus, and she's like, you've changed my life. I didn't think that, at this age I could have like a second wind, and everything has changed. Like my neighbors are talking to me, and she's like, nobody, she's like, people are inviting me to parties. I've lived on the same hill for I don't know how many times, and now they're like, suddenly everyone wants to talk to me. And so it was like a very like honest,
Yeah.
real moment. And then she did another bit. I don't know if she presented before or after, but she did another bit where she was talking about being asked to present, but she was so terrified because she was afraid of falling. And again, another bit that I'm not going to do justice. And that she's like, she was really worried. And this part was relatable to me because she's like, she was really worried about not pronouncing people's names correctly, and she would be mortified, which is a fear that I have when I'm talking to people. I'm like, how do you pronounce
Just
your
a joke.
name? Because I just don't like, I hate that.
Yeah.
And she had the whole room like in stitches too, but she's just so much fun to watch. And I love the narrative of people, I don't want to say peaking, but still having momentum when typically you're just looking for the next Justin Bieber, like,
Yeah.
the next
Like,
young
well, like
kid.
Brendan Fraser, it is in his
Brendan
new wave.
Fraser, he did well too. He didn't go to the Golden Globes because he has a bad history with the foreign press. So
Association, Foreign Press Association.
Foreign Press Association, and he skipped it. I don't know if he won or not, but he skipped it and I guess he didn't win because he just kind of flipped them off. But he's also having his like little second wind. Pamela Anderson, obviously not. I mean, who knows? Like the sky's the limit. But Pamela Anderson has a new documentary that's dropping later this month, and I'm really excited to see it because in 2023 eyes, I feel like she's gonna have a renaissance. I really do.
Probably.
I really, really
Probably.
do. I'm into it too. What?
You know,
I
I was
said
gonna
it
say,
wrong. I said it
I
wrong
was
on
gonna say,
purpose.
no, I was gonna say she doesn't really strike me as like a great actress, but neither does
No, the
Keanu, and
documentary.
neither does Keanu, and he had his renaissance. So yeah,
Oh.
okay.
The face.
I'm just gonna.
Do you think Keanu's a good actor?
We're having a good time, so I don't want to.
Keanu's like like Keanu's renowned for like how bad of an actor he is. Like that's not my thing. That's like everybody's like collectively he's a bad actor. We all love him.
But I think that was,
Everybody
but I
loves
think that was like an
everybody
old
loves Keanu.
school
Like
joke, though.
yeah, but Keanu's like one of those things where like he's become the renaissance that Keanu had is like everybody's like he's a super amazing human being. Like nobody's taking that. Like everybody's like, he gives women his seat at the subway. Like he's an amazing human being, but he's a really bad actor. And the reason why he's become because the resurgence of Keanu is him. The joke has always been Keanu came back because he's doing roles in which he doesn't talk, which is hilarious because he's doing John Wick and he actually does all those things. Like he's actually a proficient shooter with guns and proficient in martial arts. And it's like, yeah, that's why he had his renaissance because he just doing
Well,
movies.
so I'm not saying like renaissance in terms of Pamela Anderson acting. I mean, she could if she wanted to. I don't know.
I'm all for it. I'm like, oh, I wonder if
But
I
what
wonder if
I'm
she has
saying
it
is
in
that
her.
like I remember that in the 90s gays, she was like this, blonde, bodacious body, whatever, Baywatch babe. And people really didn't take her seriously. They just kind of objective, and that was her brand. She knows what she
Yeah.
knows. I mean, she said it in the
She was
trailer. She
working
knew
on her
what she
shit.
was doing, right? She was just
Yeah.
Yeah.
leveraging the power of pretty to fucking become Pamela Anderson. But I'm interested to see like what this documentary is going, what side of her, because the trailer has cuts a lot back and forth to like now and then. But the stuff that they're showing now is her barefaced, like zoomed in,
Yeah.
hair messy, and that's not the
No
brand.
eyebrows.
So
No eyebrows.
I'm curious to see like, because my opinion, and this is fucked up of me, so I'm not claiming like that I was right for it, but I judged Paris Hilton superficially super hard. I was like, what the fuck is this girl, like this rich kid, whatever. And then I saw her documentary and I was like, oh, you've been through some shit. Like this was all a coping mechanism, this was a character you created, and XYZ. I don't know if you guys have seen that documentary, but it was really
Didn't even know about it.
fascinating.
I've been kind of loving the new like Gen Z loving Paris
Loving
Hilton.
Paris
Has been
Hilton.
adorable.
She's the original social media influencer. Like Get Out. Like before all the sex tapes. Like she was after Pamela Anderson. I don't remember in between anyone being more popular than Paris Hilton when her, sex tape and everything else popped off. And my perspective changed on her a lot because just sitting down and hearing her story, and then what she's advocating for now is like great. But so I'm excited to see that.
Isn't it amazing the power of documentaries they have to like literally change people's perspective on things?
Yeah.
Like, and this is not like a jab. I'm literally, like, I was never one way or the other about Jennifer Lopez, but then I saw her documentary that came out last year about her in that time frame where she was doing the Super Bowl halftime show and all that stuff there, and I was like, again, I never disliked Jennifer Lopez, but I was like, man, I really do have a bigger appreciation for Jennifer Lopez now that I saw the documentary. And of course, then she comes out and says that she has the same vocal range as Whitney Houston, which makes you go, well, okay, let's bring it back down.
Yeah.
Um,
And whatever happened with that? Wasn't she supposed to perform?
Oh, I think her people killed that when it went viral. There were a bunch of moms, specifically black women, who were like getting caught with the raw reaction of being told that Jennifer Lopez wants to do the Whitney tribute, and it was just such a good.
Yeah, but I don't even.
days.
It's so funny because I wasn't even like, oh, she wants to do a Whitney tribute. That's fine. It's the fucking gall of her verbally saying, I believe my vocal range is in the same vocal range as Whitney Houston. That statement is the inflammatory one. You want to do a tribute to Whitney Houston, by all means, sister, go do a fucking tribute to Whitney Houston. I think that's beautiful. But don't say you're at that same level. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that she likes to insert her. Well, when Prince passed away, she did the tribute for him at the Grammys, and it wasn't well received because I guess she didn't hit the.
It doesn't really make sense for her to do it either. Like she wasn't even really always super associated with his legacy.
That's
like
what
I
I'm
would
saying.
expect. I
So
would
it
expect to
doesn't-
see someone like Janelle Monáe or like someone who actually like worked with him. Was
I
trained
just
by him.
learned about Janelle Monáe last week
Oh my
when
God.
I watched Glass Onion. I didn't know who the fuck
I've
she
been
was.
obsessed with her for years.
I don't know about her. Oh, okay, take it easy, LeBron. I don't know if you know. Do you know that meme? You guys don't know that meme. LeBron James, when one of these rappers from Milo, one of these rappers from this rap group, he passed away. He was killed in a drive.
Oh, from like the Migos thing.
Migos. There you go. So one of these. So one of the members of Migos. So then the week after, LeBron James was saying like that he's been on Migos since 2000. He remembers talking in the Miami Heat locker room. I forget what he gives. Whatever year he gives, like 2004. I was in the Miami Heat, and I remember listen to these guys. These stars are going to be the next big thing. And everybody was like, "What are you talking? I don't even know who these people are." And he was bragging about how he knew about Migos before anybody else, and Migos didn't come out as a group until the following year that he stated. So whatever year he gave, it was 2004, or whatever year LeBron James said, Migos wasn't a thing until the following year. So
See?
now it's
And
now
nobody
it's an
asked
internet
him.
joke. Now it's an internet joke where they use him as a verb, where they're like, anytime something popular comes out, people are like, "Oh, I've been on that since before they were even a thing." It's like, all right, LeBron, take it easy. So that's the whole thing. So going back to
We're on very different sides of the internet sometimes.
Oh no, all the time, all the time, everything. And here's the thing: I'm now that age where I'm proud. I'm not just okay with it. Like, I'm proud. Like, if people go, "You don't know who so and so is," and I'm like, thank God I don't fucking know who so and so is. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm very much happy with being fine with who I. But anyways, I just saw Glass Onion, and she was I could not stop fucking. Like, I was like, she is killing it. Whoever this lady
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet.
Whoever this lady is, she is doing. I'm like, who the fuck is she? And then Missy was like, you don't know? Oh, she's like.
I'm like, she won a Grammy, and he's like, for acting. I'm like, no, bitch, she sings. Like, she's the best.
That's impressive. That's really impressive.
I'm like, damn, bro, she killed that shit. I'm like, very much like, she was awesome. She's just fucking awesome in that movie. She was like, very believable, and it was awesome. Anyways, you can watch my full review of Glass Onion on episode 7 of Movie Bros. Go check us out at geekbro.net and go Movie Bros podcast. Anyways, we gotta wrap it up. I gotta Olivia says I'm late, but I'm here.
Yay!
And
that's my friend Olivia, guys. No.
My friend Olivia also says, "You're right. She's cute."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. She's cute. Like, no matter, like, that's why you're staring at her. She is gorgeous. Yes.
I think she's beautiful, but in Glass Onion, she plays. I'm not spoiling it here. She plays 2 roles, one of which she does. It's purposely made for her not to be looking cute. Like, it's even very like, is that the same? Like, I did that double take where I was like, is that the same actress that played this other character that we just saw? Like, it was that. So
yeah, I sent you some of her music. Like, I was obsessed with her last concept album. Like, and it's just so, you hear Prince in it.
Mm-hmm. She should have done the Prince.
Yes,
Justin Timberlake got in shit because Super Bowl that year. He gave
You're coming in and out, homie.
Yeah, I heard Justin Timberlake in Super Bowl, and then nothing.
Justin Timberlake was the Super Bowl was in Minnesota that year, and Justin Timberlake got in shit because he, in his halftime performance, he did literally a one tribute to Prince, like a one song, like, hey, shout, whatever. And he got shit for it because Prince notoriously hated pop music. He hated all the boy band.
And they actually had a feud. So that was weird.
Yeah, because of that, because of the shit that he talked about. He went on TRL section about pop music. And then Justin Timberlake was like, oh, go fuck off. And then, oh, he died. Let me give him a tribute. So he got shit for that. So I think that was, anyways. Doesn't matter. It's neither here nor there. Thank you guys for checking out. This is I miss this podcast. I always love doing this podcast. Thank you guys for checking us out. Check out the other podcasts on the Geek Bro Network that include, but are not limited to, The Better Let Me Tell You, Chow Like a Best with Mike Valdez, Kick Flicks, the aforementioned Movie Bros, the Cramocopia, Shiver. All of those can be found on Kick Flicks. I'm sorry, geekbro.net. So make sure you go to geekbro.net. Steph, we love you. By the way, Steph is pregnant. For those of you who don't remember, last time she was on here.
Let me see the bump. Hi, little
baby. This is where we're at. It's almost go time.
How much do you have left?
Like a month and a half.
Are you smaller? Are you smaller this pregnancy than the first pregnancy?
Yeah, I think so.
I was gonna say that I didn't want to. I didn't want to. But you look
Uh-huh.
smaller at this far along. At 7.5 months, you look smaller than when you were 7.5 months with your son. I remember it being a
Yeah.
larger pregnancy.
Yeah, I think she is measuring bigger than he was, but I'm carrying less than I was
Yeah.
before. I don't know. I
Are we
also
gonna get
am
a
not trapped.
chunky?
I'm not trapped. I think she's probably actually finally going to be a chunky baby. But no, I also just I'm not trapped inside during a pandemic and all I have to do is cook and
Yeah,
eat. That's all I
Mm,
could do last time.
true story. All right. So
it sucks.
congratulations for that. We love you. Welcome back to WuBro. Thank you for checking us out. And that's how winning is done. Ba, 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 ba.